Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, this is episode number 248, and this week we have Tesla Bassist Bryan Wheat. He's written a book called Son of a Milkman, My Crazy Life with Tesla, and you can find it now everywhere books are sold. The book takes a candid look at his life as a member of a successful rock band and also delves into some of his personal struggles. He writes about sex, drugs, and rock and roll and the lifestyle he experienced during Tesla's heyday, and also opens up about his issues with bulimia, anxiety, and depression. Among the many career highlights he discusses in the book are his encounters and collaborations with rock stars and rock bands such as Def Leppard, David Lee Roth, Alice Cooper, and Paul McCartney. He co-wrote Son of a Milkman with music journalist Chris Epting, who previously collaborated on Memoirs by Hall & Oates singer John Oates and Def Leppard guitarist Phil Collen. How you doing, Bryan?
Hey, man, I'm good. You guys woke me up.
Good.
I was up late last night mixing in my studio.
Cool.
And,
what you mixing?
This country record I was producing.
Oh,
cool. I produce a lot of stuff as well. So, you know, it's funny. Last night, me and Frank Hannon were actually talking about, working on some music while we're locked down because we don't know how much longer before we play. So, because people have been asking me, is Tesla going to do an album in this lockdown? I went, no, I don't think so. I think first we'll play, go play some shows. But I think having said that and then talking to Frank, and he was up for it, that we might try to record, remotely with, him and Jeff in Sacramento and me in New York and Troy and Nashville and Dave in San Francisco. So we'll see how that goes. But anyways, I was every day my manager, he sends me a list of interviews for the next day, usually at 8:00 at night. Here's tomorrow's interview. So I didn't get one yesterday. So I thought, I don't have any interviews. Right. So then he calls me at 10:00 and goes, hey, you got 11:00. I'm like, oh, you bastard, man. I stayed up till 6 a.m. mixing. Fucker.
I'll have to send him a thank you letter.
Oh, you guys get the in-bed version of Bryan Wheat. Fuck
cool.
it.
I bet that's unique. Not everybody's
keep it
getting
real
that
in
version.
the book. I'm keeping it real. Here I am, man.
There you go. It's a rock star's life, right?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Sure. Why not? Mixing all
It's
night.
It's just what I do. I stay up late and mix because I find there are a lot fewer distractions. If I try mixing during the day, my dogs are running around, people are coming in and out of the house, the phone's ringing nonstop. So, from about 11 at night till about 5 or 6 in the morning, I get no interference and I can get a lot done.
Cool. Well, that's probably, I would imagine though, when you're out on the road and stuff like that, that's 11:00 is when you're coming off the stage or whatever sometimes. And that's about time you're still amped up and stuff, right? So
yeah, I have a hard time sleeping on the road, and I usually don't fall asleep till 6 or 7 in the morning. Usually when the bus stops rolling, I fall asleep. Some people find it easy to sleep on the bus when it moves, that comfort zone. For me, the constant deceleration and acceleration and getting off, stopping and this or that just it wakes me up. I can't sleep. So I don't really fall asleep until the bus gets to the town, because we travel at night.
Right. Sure.
We'll play the concert and then leave that night and go to the next city.
So when was
I usually, when I'm in road mode, I'm usually sleeping from about 6 to 2 in the afternoon.
Cool. So before we get to the book, what was the last show that you guys did? Do you remember?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, it was in February.
Oh, so and then were you guys off after that a little bit, or is that?
Yeah, we were off. We finished the end of February, and we were due to start another run in April. And that's when the COVID thing came down and everything got canceled.
Yeah.
And then we had other shows through the summer and they all got canceled. So now I think there are shows on the books again for this summer, but we'll see. If we get the green light from, everyone else, we'll do them. But if, we're still in this lockdown situation or, I think having the vaccine's going to help a lot. Well, I know it will,
Yeah, I'm getting information about tickets and ticket sales and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm not buying any tickets until I see that it's really going to happen, because Ticketmaster has some of my money still.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, isn't it? So, people, they haven't refunded people's money, and it's bullshit.
Yeah. There's been a couple of them that have been pretty good about that, and then others they're just hanging on to them. But it's going to get rescheduled for the same time next year. Well, I can't imagine to get it scheduled for the same date, because there's a calendar and the dates move based on the days of the.
Right. It was
so what might have
different, or whatever the case may be, and that maybe we did the difference. And imagine if you're taking your family and you got $300 or $400 tied up in concert tickets. You could use that money for groceries right now, especially with, people getting unemployed again and stuff.
Well, that's okay. I'm sure Live Nation needs the money.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
So what, the book title, Son of a Milkman, that's pretty cool. I assume your dad was a milkman, but maybe not.
Yeah, well, he was. So he was the milkman. I was the illegitimate son of the milkman. So that's what the joke was, right? Back in the the day, oh, you're the milkman's kid. Well, I in fact am the milkman's kid, and that's why I chose that as the title.
Yeah, I made a joke one time about you look like the mailman, and that did not go over very well at all. I guess there was a backstory there.
Yeah, well, on that backstory, but it's okay. I wear it like a badge of honor, man.
Yeah, it's cool. That's very interesting. Very interesting.
So, what made you decide to write that book?
Yeah, I think it was when I turned 50, which was about 8 years ago. When I was in therapy when I was young for the anxiety and depression and stuff, my therapist said to me, one day you should consider writing a book, because it would be helpful for you to let the stuff go that you internalize. And I went, yeah, okay. But at that time, it was my second album. So there was no real story to tell. And nor would I thought, well, would someone want to read a book about Bryan Wheat or whatever? Because no one would have gave a fuck, right? But when I turned 50 and Tesla had been a band for 25, 26, 27 years or whatever it was, at that point I thought, well, there's a story here. And, being Brian from Tesla and starting the band with Frank, someone might be interested in my life story. And that's what inspired me to write the book. And it took me about 8 years to finish. Because I started it and it didn't pan out the first time I tried writing it with the guy. And then the second time I finished a book that I thought was the book, but when I sent it around to some publishers and stuff, they said, well, it reads like an interview. And that's when I got together with Chris Epting, and the last 2 years of the project is when we put together the book that you have now.
Cool. We did get the book, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet because we just got it just the other day.
No, I can tell because you're asking stuff that's in the book, but that's okay. Read it.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
definitely.
you guys, it's in my words, so it's like talking to me. The thing that people say is just like, when I speak to people about the book, they say we really like it because it's like we're sitting in the living room having a beer, and you're just telling us these stories to your life. And so it's funny. There's a lot of humor in it. You guys will laugh, and then it tells of the trials and tribulations that the band have had as well. But it's not like a definitive "this is the history of Tesla the band" book. There's a lot of Tesla stuff in it, but it's through my eyes and how I recall it and remember it and saw it. Now, if you were to ask someone else in the band about some of the same topics, they would probably have a completely different point of view. So it's more a book about my life and the struggles I've had in my life with everything from being an illegitimate kid to anxiety issues to ulcerative colitis to depression, bulimia, Tesla's ups and downs, the ups and downs of the music business in general. It covers a lot of stuff. So, read it. I think you guys will have a good time with it. I think you'll have a laugh. I think it's funny.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely read it. Although actually the only books that I ever read are autobiographies. I don't like reading.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, I don't like reading
fiction.
like my son reads fiction stuff and he'll read like James Patterson and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, I like autobiographies as well.
Yeah.
And next week I go to Dallas because I'm in Texas right now for the winter because we have a house in Texas and one in New York and then one in Italy. But we spend the winters in Texas to do the audio version of the book.
Oh, so, that'll be cool. So, and you're going to do the audio
version? Some people like
version?
audio versions. I do too as well because I have a hard time looking at stuff on paper. Even like manuals of things and stuff. I learn how to do things by just immersing myself in them and actually referring to the manual. That's I can't retain it. It's just weird. It's just I'm fucked up, man. What do you want?
It's called on-the-job training.
I like reading. I like listening. I like listening to them by our actual artist that wrote the book. I've listened to a couple of them by other people.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is just weird. It's like
somebody
else telling your story. It just, I don't care for that too much.
I remember getting the audio version of Ted Nugent's book and just thinking that was great. Ted telling those stories. And, only Ted can tell those stories. And it was his voice. It was great. And it's funny. I told, because I've known Ted for a long time and we've played with him throughout the years. And one of the last times I saw him, I went into his dressing room and to say hello and stuff. And I said, "I love your book, man." And he was, "I love my book too."
That's Ted.
Yeah, it sounds like Ted.
Ted,
It absolutely sounds like him, for sure.
Yeah. Old Ted. Anyways. So what else do you guys want to talk about?
So what's going on with so you said Tesla's not really doing anything at the moment. You're talking about doing some things. But it's interesting because you were talking about tours and stuff like that. But I have had the opportunity to read the foreword in the book that Joe Elliott did, and I thought it was really funny. I mean, that made me laugh. And just his whole thing about I think you'd made a comment that he ditched you guys whenever you were opening for them in Europe and never paid any attention and that kind of stuff. And he's like, well, I probably did, but it's not my, I was just being a dick then or something like that. So there was some pretty funny stuff just in the forward. So I'm sure the rest of the book is going to be pretty good.
I just said that because that whole time we were in England, we hung out with Steve Clark, Phil Collin, Rick Allen mostly, because Sav is kind of hangs by himself a lot. And I thought, well, this Joe Elliott character, he must not like us because he was never around or anything. And then, lo and behold, when we got to America, he's the one that he came to our hotel room one night when we were in rehearsals and came in and hung out with me and Frank. And from that day on, me and him connected, and we connected over, Paul McCartney and Wings. And he's been one of my, best friends in a rock band since then. So yeah, it's funny. He says you don't remember ignoring me, but I didn't say it like that. He likes to fuck with me.
You could tell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He likes picking on me.
Yeah. That's kind of what I gathered from it as well. So I'm not surprised by that at all.
Yeah.
So did you guys tour with them a couple of years ago in the summer?
Yeah. For 3 years straight.
Yeah. So I saw that tour twice.
Yeah. We did one summer was with Styx. One summer was with REO. And one summer was with Poison.
Yeah, I saw the Poison show, the one with Poison and the one with Styx.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw both of those.
Anytime you put Tesla and Def Leppard together, it's a great show.
It is a good show. Yeah, very good. I would agree. 100%.
Yeah. So.
All right. What do you got, Alan? Any other questions?
You got any other thing, Alan?
What other projects do you have going on right now? Besides
I'm
the country
producing
band?
a lot of stuff in my, I have a lot of young bands that I work with. So I'm producing young bands and working with them. I got a Soul Motor record coming out soon, which is my other band, which is more of a kind of heavier band that I've had since 1999.
Oh.
So, working on that stuff and that's really it. I haven't really been doing much. It's been kind of isolated and growing my beard. Trying to catch you, man.
Well, where can people find your book?
Any place you find books. Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Amazon. Wherever you buy books, they have it. It's published through Post Hill Press, so it's a pretty big publisher. So they're in all the usual outlets, and I tell people the easiest is probably just go on Amazon.
I'll make sure that when we post this episode that I'll put the link to the book right in there so they can find it.
Yeah.
Do you have a website or anything you want to promote?
Just Bryan Wheat Facebook, Bryan Wheat Instagram. Tesla the Band Facebook, Tesla the Band Instagram. Between those 4 places, you can find out whatever we're doing at any given moment. But like I said, right now it's kind of dormant because of this whole COVID thing. So we're just kind of laying low, waiting for the storm to pass.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. Well, Dennis, who's normally on our show too, because there's usually 3 of us that are co-hosts, he'll be upset that he missed us because he's a really big Signs fan. So
he likes Signs, huh?
Yeah. So he'll be upset about that, but he knew it was going on, but he had to work today, so maybe he can catch up with you some other time.
We'll tell him, signs everywhere, signs.
That's what we'll tell him.
We will.
Tell him he missed it. I sang for him.
There you go.
In my baritone voice.
Right on.
Yeah, that's all right. He's kind of lazy anyway.
Y'all visit agesofrock.com. Check out our social media and our past episodes. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.